So I already know making a video about Itachi being overrated is going to get a lot of hate on it, but I was recently thinking about Itachi's feats and lore, and honestly, most of it is overrated. If you watch my video about Hashirama being overrated, I feel like Itachi's overrated in the exact same way that Hashirama is overrated, since people take their hacks as their actual raw power, but that's just not the case. The first thing I want to go over is the idea that Itachi completely scales over the Sannin. This comes from his encounters with Orochimaru, and the fact that Orochimaru said Itachi is stronger than himself, but there's a lot of context in these statements that people just really like to leave out whenever they're scaling Itachi. So first off, when Orochimaru says Itachi is stronger than himself, he's literally referring to himself as he is in that moment, and Itachi being stronger than Orochimaru in that moment should be obvious since Orochimaru's arms just got sealed away. Then Orochimaru says the reason he left the Akatsuki was because Itachi was stronger than him, but that shouldn't even matter since Akatsuki Orochimaru scales nowhere. Orochimaru is in the Akatsuki 5 or 7 years before part 1, and for all we know, the Orochimaru that fought Hiruzen in part 1 could be way stronger than himself from his Akatsuki days. This is actually implied too, since Hiruzen thinks Orochimaru has been improving since the last decade he left the Leaf Village, so Orochimaru would be getting stronger year after year. Another thing about Akatsuki Orochimaru is the fact that he didn't even lose physically to Itachi, he just lost to Itachi's Sharingan Genjutsu. I don't see why people think this is an impressive feat, since we know the Sharingan lets weaker people control stronger beings anyways. I mean, Fugaku can literally control the Nine Tails, who's way stronger than him, with just his Sharingan. So just because Orochimaru got Genjutsu'd doesn't mean he's way weaker than Itachi. He just can't compete with Itachi's Sharingan Genjutsu, which is obvious. The other way people try scaling Itachi over Orochimaru and the Sannin is by saying Itachi, whenever he was blind and near death, could quote-unquote beat Orochimaru while Orochimaru was in his strongest form. This, however, just didn't happen. I mean, people act like Itachi just started throwing Orochimaru around, but Itachi literally had to use magical spirit weapons to defeat Orochimaru. I don't see why Itachi using weapons that have their own powers would mean Itachi himself is stronger than Orochimaru. When you break everything down, there's honestly nothing that suggests Itachi's raw power is on part 1 Orochimaru's level, or even Warwick Orochimaru's level. Moving on to the next way people overrate Itachi, and that's the scaling with Obito. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think Itachi scales to Obito, since there's a lot of evidence to suggest that. However, people tend to overrate the version of Obito that Itachi scales to. Orange Mask Obito, like it or not, doesn't have any super notable feats. He might be stronger than when he fought Minato, but people don't factor in the fact that Minato was most likely fatigued during his fight with Obito. Minato spent several hours holding back Kurama while Kushina was giving birth, and he teleported away one of Kurama's tail beast bombs before fighting Obito. So I would expect Minato to be a bit out of it during that fight. If you think he's still at 100% despite what he did before fighting Obito, then I just don't know what to tell you. And when it comes to White Mask Obito, since he has the Rinnegan, he should be way stronger than his Orange Mask counterpart, and Itachi only scales to Orange Mask Obito. So trying to scale Itachi using White Mask Obito feats doesn't really work. The only thing Itachi gets from scaling to Orange Mask Obito is also scaling to Konan and Sugetsu, since Orange Mask Obito could react to them, but that's not really anything to brag about since we already knew he scaled there. So the next way people overrate Itachi is by trying to use his Edo feats. People argue that all Edo Tensei are nerfed, and since Edo Itachi could fight against KCM1 Naruto, that means alive Itachi would be even stronger than that, but I disagree with this. I already made a full video discussing whether or not all Edo Tensei were nerfed, so you should definitely check that out if you have time. But Itachi is one of Kabuto's Edo Tensei, and Kabuto is stated to have mastered the Edo Tensei and even surpassed Orochimaru's version. Only Orochimaru's Edo Tensei were ever stated to be nerfed. Kabuto's Edo Tensei, depending on who you are, will either make you stronger or as strong as you were when you died, with only Madara as an exception since he was brought back younger. So you can argue that alive Itachi is equal to his Edo form, and therefore relative to KCM1 Naruto, but you can't say alive Itachi would be stronger than KCM1 Naruto because of some random Edo nerf, because there's no evidence that that nerf exists for Kabuto's Edo Tensei. The last way people overrate Itachi, and this is also Edo Tensei related by the way, but it's through trying to scale him to EMS Sasuke. There's a databook statement that says Sasuke was realized as Itachi's equal, and people interpret that to mean equal in power, but that's definitely not true. The context of equal in the databook most likely means equal in status rather than equal in power. Basically, Sasuke went from being low bro to just bro. Itachi respects him as an equal. That's what the databook is trying to say, not equal in power. This is similar to another statement that says Hinata was realized as Naruto's equal during the war arc. No one would ever say Hinata was equal to Kurama mode Naruto. Equal here means equal in status, just like for Sasuke's case. So now that I've gone over the wank for Itachi, I'm going to go over where he should actually scale. I kind of went over this earlier, but Itachi's best scaling is through the KCM1 Naruto fight. It should be noted though that Itachi fought KCM1 Naruto before he completely befriended Kurama, so that version of KCM wouldn't be as strong as the one that we see during the war arc. Still though, Itachi was able to keep up with Naruto for basically their entire fight, and was considered a huge threat to him, so he should just be around KCM1 Naruto level in terms of raw power and speed. Having power on par with KCM1 Naruto is impressive, but it's not high Kage level like Minato, or even Sannin level, since we know Tsunade is stronger than the Raikage, and the Raikage was on par with KCM Naruto. However, what makes Itachi more dangerous than KCM1 Naruto is his Genjutsu and spirit weapons, since both of those bypass durability and he can use them very quickly. He's also one of the smartest people in the verse, so with his hacks and his intelligence, he'd be able to defeat enemies stronger than KCM1 Naruto, but not because of his raw power. Like, he can't just punch somebody hard and kill them like Tsunade could. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Itachi is one of the greatest characters in Naruto, but his power is definitely overrated, and he kinda does get carried by his hacks. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching.